My feet so fat I can't get into my roller skates. And my neckerchief don't fit anymore. Look at this. It's a stick up. It don't work. I do this at a bank robbery, I look like a fool.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Power Up Podcast. How you guys doing? Doing good on this Thursday? It was kind of stormy today. So, the sun was not shining. Supposedly, it's supposed to be bad later on in the week, but we'll see. Texas, you never know. Sometimes they call for rain throughout the week, and then nothing happens. Then other times, they say it's going to be good, and then stuff happens. But yes, it is Thursday, so we've got some stuff that we'll check out today. The Power Up Podcast is a show that is working towards being the number one show that brings you pop culture, entertainment, news, and all that stuff, along with me game streaming, trying to be the number one retro gaming channel. Why? Why me out of the many others that are out there? Well, it's because I'm ginger. I'm a redhead. So we are a dying breed, and we need to rise up. Rise up and let the world know that we are still here, and we are tired of our characters being swapped with black people in movies. We've had enough. But yeah, if you're new to the show, it's a show that takes a look at what's happening in pop culture and keeping ourselves up to date and our minds sharp. And of course, that ranges out to video games, movies, TV shows, anime, manga, what have you, whatever floats your boat, I guess. Or I guess technically what floats my boat, because it's my show. I determine what we take a look at. But we got some articles here ranging all over the place. From Nexus mods apparently backing down and putting back in the male-female mod for Oblivion Remastered. So we'll take a look at what's happening there. And then we've got some Nintendo Switch news that we'll keep ourselves up to date on. Some Pedro, Pascal sort of garbage. And all that insanity. So if you enjoy that, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. Usually Tuesdays and Thursdays for the Power Up Podcast. And then gaming throughout the week and the weekend. All at 8 p.m. Central Time. With that being said, we're also on YouTube, Rumble, and X, by the way. Trying to grow up all those channels so you can follow me on multiple platforms if you so wish, whichever one you enjoy the most. So there was a ruling over in the UK, which shouldn't have even happened because, reality is reality. And anybody who knows this would know biological sex definitions. But it's come to this. This is how insane the world is getting. So the UK has finally gotten their gear together, I guess you should say, and have determined what the definition of biological sex is, even though, again, most of the world knows exactly what it is. Some people are not happy about it. Like Pedro Pascal here, calling Harry Potter's author J.K. Rowling a, quote, heinous loser. Sounds like somebody who's the real loser is this weirdo with jean boots, whatever. I saw that you guys see that picture of him wearing like these weird jean looking boot things or something. It's so retarded. So he responds to her over comments defending biological sex definition. So let's take a look. As we know, he was in The Mandalorian. He's The Last of Us. And this comes from that park place. And apparently he had to insert himself into the ongoing debate over gender terminology in women's spaces by publicly disparaging bestseller Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. The actor left a comment on activist Tariq Raouf's Instagram post calling Rowling a heinous loser following her support for a recent UK Supreme Court ruling that clarified legal definitions around biological sex. Again, a ruling that did not need to take place because when you are based in reality, I was looking for my water. When you're based in reality, no such ruling ever has to be made. But as we get closer to the days of Noah, as the scripture talks about, probably going to be seeing a lot more of this popping up, and it's only going to get worse. By the way, it's gonna get pretty scary, especially when one knows what happens during the days of Noah, what happened, prehistory. Ain't looking good. Ain't looking good. The ruling issued last week determined that sex, in legal terms, refers to biological sex, and that facilities and services designed for women, such as shelters, hospital wards, and sports, can operate on the basis without being compelled to include male-born individuals. This decision is considered a landmark clarification in UK law and was supported by Rowling, who posted, "I love it when a plan comes together." When challenged online, the Harry Potter author reminded critics that she continues to receive royalties whether her books are read or discarded. "I get the same royalties whether you read them or burn them," she wrote. "Enjoy your marshmallows." But remember, folks, just because she's based on, gender terminology and all that stuff does not mean she's based elsewhere. Just take a look at what's happening to the Harry Potter HBO series, specifically casting some black dude as Severus Snape, which the book describes Severus as not a black guy. So, yeah, there's that, and that's been the big hubbub recently. I don't know. I haven't kept up with the Harry Potter news, but that's pretty much the big one that's happening. The Instagram post Pedro Pascal responded to was a lengthy critique of Rowling and included calls to undermine the upcoming Harry Potter television reboot in development at HBO. Raoufs urged followers to flood comment sections with slogans and boycott theme park attractions tied to the Harry Potter brand. I'm noticing the boycotts from the left aren't really working anymore, while the boycotts from the right, I guess, kind of work. I don't know. To me, I've never been one to, super go hard with boycotting, because at some point in my mind, you will be boycotting yourself into an island to where you just won't be getting anything. Because in some way, shape, and form, you can trace everything back to, certain parts. Like if you liked a certain, like Bud Light, the whole Bud Light thing with the one weirdo person, whatever, I don't even remember the dude's name, who thinks he's a woman but he's not, Dylan. He promoted Bud Light, which is already a garbage beer to begin with. And, people were boycotting it. But then when you look into, the people who do the factoring for beer and stuff like that, it, branches over into other stuff. So it's like, well, are you going to boycott those too? Because that's associated. You just keep going. You just look at the snowball of the effect and realize that there might be stuff that you like that's associated with it. And it's like, how extreme are you going to go with it? That's why I was never like, whatever. I'm against it, but, I'm not. It's not like I'm going to boycott everything associated with XYZ, because then you're cutting out a lot of stuff. And do I care that much? The answer is a little bit, but not hardcore. So though Pascal did not mention the series directly, his public support of the post was widely interpreted as an endorsement of the larger effort to discourage support from the franchise. Pascal's comment read, "Awfully disgusting explicitive is exactly right. Heinous loser behavior." And yeah, look at this. This is the guy that's trying to act all tough. Like, he just reeks of beta. And him doing this stupid crap isn't helping the beta image. While some online applauded his stance, others pointed to Rowling's continued success and resilience in the face of public backlash. As the creator of one of the most lucrative book and film series in modern history, Rowling remains a cultural force. Her support for the UK ruling aligns with her long-standing advocacy for safeguarding spaces and service reserved for women, an issue she has spoken on publicly as a survivor of serious trauma in her own life. The reaction from Pascal reflects growing tension between public figures and creators navigating deeply personal topics through the lens of popular culture, which is why they need to shut up and just keep that crap behind the scenes. And if you have a problem with it, you can go talk to whoever you got a problem with it. But these guys are pussies and they won't do it. Though the actor has made statements and gestures of support on red carpets and social media, some critics argue that resorting to name-calling only deepens division. And keep in mind, there's a particular side that just absolutely loves name-calling. Loves name-calling so much that one specific label, they'll just attach it to anything that they disagree with. I bet you guys can take a wild guess of what that label is and who always says it. Meanwhile, HBO continues to move forward with the Harry Potter reboot, which will span 7 seasons, each adapting one of Rowling's novels. The network has faced repeated calls for boycott since the project was announced, though HBO leadership has dismissed concerns, noting the massive commercial success of Hogwarts Legacy, a video game in 2023 that broke sale records despite similar efforts to undermine it, and yet still had some woke stuff into there, but I still need to play. I still wouldn't mind playing Hogwarts Legacy at some point, but right now, life is life. Rowling, for her part, has remained unshaken by repeated public condemnations. Her message has been consistent. She supports legal charity on the basis of sex and believes in protecting rights for all, without erasing definitions that underpin services for women. As the entertainment world continues to collide with sensitive social discourse, the divide between personal beliefs and professional obligations appears to be growing wider. Whether Pascal's remarks will influence the Harry Potter reboot or HBO's positioning remains to be seen. I'm more curious at the fact of the Gina Carano suit, because what I believe, wouldn't Pedro be one of the people to talk to, like if they go to court? And now you have him saying stupid stuff like that. That just asserts Gina's position of, yeah, it appears there's 100% bias for a specific group or against one type of belief as opposed to the other. So I think this was a terrible decision by Pedro. In terms of that, like, he's a little bitch to begin with anyway. So This doesn't help him at all, in my opinion. And again, just look at that. And then all those weird tisms people were trying to justify that he was doing, like touching that one chick. And he's like, "Oh, he's just nervous." It's like, dude, I have anxiety and I don't feel the need to like constantly touch people, like, or whatever. You know, just excuses. It's what they do every time. They always have an excuse, and conveniently are always portrayed throughout history as the people who were the good guys in the end. Weird. So this one's a big shocker in terms of what's being talked about. Is apparently Star Wars needs to include a sexual assault scene. This comes from Fandom Pulse. Entertainment Weekly describes sexual assault in Andor as a Star Wars milestone. Milestone, huh?
This guy must be a fag.
Actress says it's important to Star Wars, except it's not. Except that Star Wars is not about sexual assault. Star Wars is about space battles and superpowers. Like, let's be real here, folks. That's all it's about. It's combining things that we all love. Action, lasers, sword fighting, spaceships, and it all takes in space. That's what Star Wars is all about, once you get down to the nitty-gritty. Access media outlet Entertainment Weekly described the filming of a sexual assault scene in the third episode of Andor Season 2 as a Star Wars milestone, while prompting their interview with actress Adria Arjona. Is this her, I'm assuming, up there? In the show's third episode of its second season, a sexual assault takes place. It shows an Imperial officer, Lieutenant Kroll. That's his name, Lieutenant Kroll. I always feel bad in terms of like... Well, let me rephrase that. If I were ever to write a book, I feel like my names that I would give my characters would be terrible. But yet, I feel like my names would be like amazing compared to like the fandom that is the Disney Star Wars franchise and other stuff too. Like some of these names, it's just like, what are you talking about? Attempting to abuse his position of power during an inspection of grain production. What? While the officer and his soldiers are inspecting the grain silo, he makes advances on Bix Kalines, a mechanic repairing the agricultural equipment after having fled the planet Ferrix. She and her two compatriots are illegal Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? Oh my gosh. Gosh. This isn't a comment about anything that's happening in the real life, dude. Oh my gosh. Literally trying to paint illegal workers like you should feel sorry for them. They're just trying to get a good life. It's like, well, then they should follow the rules to, come inside the planet and not just weasel your way in here like a snake. So two compatriots are illegal workers brought in to help maintain production levels for the Empire. During their first encounter with her, the Imperial officer is interrupted by Kayleen's partner, Brasso. Are these like robots? Are they real people? I don't know. However, when he returns a second time, he has discovered that Kayleen and her compatriots are illegal. He attempts to use this as leverage against her and begins attempting to seduce her. However, she rejects him and a struggle ensues, with Krull attempting to force himself on her. Kayleen eventually kills him, striking him in the face with one of her tools. And he has no guards with him. This doesn't even, like, what am I trying to say? I'm sadly trying to compare this to like what actually happens in real life, is that this sort of advancement that they're trying to say you should feel bad about this and stuff, this happens in real life. You want to know what happens? It happens with the gang. It happens with the gang of people to where the victims have no chance whatsoever and are sadly taken advantage of or straight up murdered. These people have no clue what they're trying to convey to the people at all. Because if you were trying to showcase, like, you guys should feel sorry for illegal workers because they get sexually assaulted all the time, then you should portray it accurately. And what accurately is not the strong woman gaining the upper hand and winning. All of this is in their heads in terms of what they think what reality is. Gosh, this is so retarded. This doesn't need to be in Star Wars. Entertainment Weekly described the scene on X as a milestone. It wrote, as Bix on Andor, Adria Arjona became the first actress to film an attempted sexual assault in the Star Wars universe. Arjana tells us more about this milestone. Oh my gosh. This is so dumb. This is dumb. Is this really the only picture they're just going to reuse over and over? Like this, like I saw this on X and like this is the only picture I see. This one's going hard and just says, straight up says grape scene. The outlet was blasted for this declaration and its framing of the scene as something to be celebrated. Lily asks, why does this sound like it's being celebrated? Exactly. They're celebrating this. Like, this is the funny thing. One is they're celebrating apparently sexual assault, which is probably not what their intention is. Their intention is probably, look at how this strong, powerful woman, like, overcame a sexual assault, and we should all be praising for it to be finally to be depicted. It's like, dude, that is not how this is coming off at all. First of all, you're trying to make us feel sorry for illegal workers, fictional illegal workers, mind you. Second of all, it's the same retarded trope that you guys keep pushing over and over and over again, the strong white woman overcoming the terrible male adversary. And then number two, you guys somehow thought that it was a good idea. Well, this is a sexual assault scene. Like, this will for sure get the point across. And it's like, no, not at all. Because in reality, when this isn't how it happens. Like I explained, we've heard those terrible stories of women being sexually assaulted and sometimes even killed by illegal gang members. Like, multiple people taking advantage of them. Like, this is disgusting. And they're parading this like this is some stuff. This is the same stupid crap that everybody is trying to, you know, with the retard women going up on literally a roller coaster ride, not even into space, like still in the atmosphere, right? And then trying to say they're an astronaut. It's like, no, you guys are not. Like, oh my gosh. Man, they are going out on all the stops to try to make something larger than what it actually is. Novelist John Douglas shared an image describing Star Wars as, quote, a movie about space wizards intended for children, he commented. This picture aged poorly. She isn't the first, wrote Melee Games. Disney has been graping the fans since The Force Awakens. I saw that one. That one was a good one. Good job, Melee Games. That was amazing. That was a good zinger. That Park Place YouTube host Jonas J. Campbell wrote, you misspelled millstone. One person wrote, what a historical and iconic milestone, said nobody ever. Others questioned milestone, and this is a good thing. Kanan Sketch posted, not everything needs a, quote, first-time parade. I think this is one of them. And then other people wrote, milestone, celebrating an attempted grape in Star Wars as a milestone. I know, like, this is the insanity that these people think. It's a new way. I don't know if it is a new way, but it seems to me they're trying to invent a new way of trying to lessen the blow of how scummy they really are, because it seems like the hive mind is realizing that the projection isn't working anymore. And so now they're trying to, like, they don't want to let go of it because that's all they know, but they're also trying to, I guess, own up to it in a little way. Like, it's the weirdest thing. It's like it's them going out, like, that bag that's sitting on the table, that's a bag of Cheetos. And then you go over and look at the bag, and it's Doritos. And you go, you're 100% wrong. That's a bag of Doritos. And they go, no, I'm right. You're just XYZ. It's like, no, it's a bag of Doritos. And like, you hold up the bag or whatever. And then then the excuses comes in. It's like, well, I saw orange. You know, and Dorito and Cheeto are orange. So I'm right. It's like, yes, but you said that was a bag of Cheetos when it's a bag of Doritos. Like, this is the excuses they keep coming with. They just cannot admit the fact that they look like an absolute retard when they get called out on all this stuff. You know, they can't own up to it. Not only did Entertainment Weekly describe it as a milestone, but our joiner told the outlet it was challenging because everyone involved in the creation of that scene felt the importance of what this scene meant, not only for the show, but for Star Wars. No, that's the feeling of knowing you're bastardizing a series, but you said, fuck it, I'll take the paycheck anyway. That's what that feeling is. Chad, it's something Tony Gilroy does. He brings this mirror effect that shows that things that happen in our world also happen in a galaxy far, far away. But what you showed does not depict correctly what's happening in the real world. I said this already 2 times. In the real world, it's not just one person that does the assaulting. It's done by a group of people, and sadly, the woman does not gain the upper hand. Oh my gosh, these people. Remember, this is Hollywood too, by the way. Remember, they're also the gun experts of everything. You know, like they totally think that John Wick scene with them just using quote silencers. That happens every day, and people can just get away with it. Even though literally there's tons of video showcasing that suppressors at times, depending on where you're located, tell you actually more, gives your position away more than hide it. Oh my gosh. What do you make of Entertainment Weekly's description of the scene as a milestone and describing it as an importance to Star Wars? Retarded, completely missing the point, and also terribly misrepresenting of what actually happens when this sad situation happens for a young woman. And it's infuriating that these people have the gall to go, well, we know what's happening in real life, so we're going to showcase what that is in pop culture, and then not even getting it correct. That's what's infuriating. It shows how out of touch these faggots are. On more uplifting news, I've been playing Pokemon Pocket, and apparently the next set will add Sun and Moon favorites, if that's your thing. Now, I have not played Sun and Moon yet. I need to... I think that might actually be the next game I need to play, because I believe I played Black and White 2. Or no, do I have to play X and Y? See, I'm totally... We're getting to the point where I might hold off on the Pokemon stuff because, that's when all the defeminizing the women and making them more, masculine stuff started to creep in. The set, which will be named Celestial Guardians, will introduce Pokemon first found in the Alola region. A special drop event is also coming soon, which will give... Excuse me. It's my Ronin Kenshin impression. Oro. Which will give players the chance to oh my gosh. Can't even talk. My voice cracking threw me off so hard. To earn Rayquaza EX. The event will run from Tuesday, April 30th at 6 a.m. to Monday, May 13th. And then you can view the trailer for the new set below, right there, along with some of the cards that are set to join the game. We got Rowlet, got Poplio, Lunala EX, with the Psychic Connect ability. Once during your turn, you may move all psychic energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. Oh, that's pretty nice. One of the Vaporeons I have allows that to do for all water-based. Litten. Dude, that's me right now. That's me just going, oh, brother, here we go. Ooh, the Alolan Raichu EX, who also has Psychic. This attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Not bad. Looks like a base of 60. Solgaleo EX with Rising Road ability. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch it with your active Pokemon. What's up, Patty Quinn? Over on Rumble with that Michelangelo dancing emote. Love to see it. And it's got Soul Breaker, and it does 10 damage to itself. But dang, only costs 2 medals. Wow. That's a good one. Developer Denia recently confirmed that the game's trading system will change later this year. A blog post on the official Pokemon forum states that when the update rolls out trade tokens, the controversial currency which was required to trade cards will be completely removed from the game. I'm doing good. How are you? I'm doing okay. I'm just trying to live. Trying to live my life, you know, same as everybody. Feels right now we're just floating, existing. The Pokemon Company has said it has no plans to add Pokemon TCG Pocket to the roster on competitive Pokemon games. We're always looking at different titles, says Chris Brown. Pokemon Company Director of Global Esports during an interview with Video Game Chronicle. That's where this article comes from. But at this time, there are no plans for Pokemon Pocket to join, but we're always looking at things. Pokemon Sleep is out there too, said Brown, laughing. Last April, the Pokemon Company released a parody trailer for the Pokemon Sleep Champion tournament to celebrate April Fool's Day. Well, there's some Pokemon Pocket news if you like the game. I enjoy it. Haven't been playing it in a while, but we'll get there. All right, you guys want to talk about delusions here? Here, we'll actually jump over to Fandom Wire. It's a new place I found. How about the Netflix boss saying that Netflix will save Hollywood after movie theater dies because we listen to our consumers? Oh my gosh, you 100% do not listen to people at all, you lying sack of crap. And I want to say this article from Fandom Pulse. We got Fandom Wire and Fandom Pulse. Ted Sarandos claims company is saving Hollywood by not embracing theatrical releases. So this seems absolutely hilarious. But we'll check this one out. So the big streamer is saving Hollywood as the theatrical experience gets outdated, citing shifting consumer preferences. Well, I thought the preference was make series good and stop DEIing them with stupid garbage. But apparently you're not doing that, as we just read with Star Wars, for example. So over the past years, Netflix has proven to be one of the most dominating forces in the global entertainment industry. Not only has it become a platform catering to fans' demands of watching theatrical releases so they don't have to buy DVDs and Blu-rays for the same, but it also has been delivering original content that fits fans' expectations for what they want to see. Oh, you have been not... Wow, the delusion here. These people do not like maybe original series, I guess, but I mean, I guess it does say original content, but your anime adaptation, whoo boy. I mean, aside from what, One Piece? Like, you guys haven't been doing too well there, buckos. And a lot of people still like to own their actual movies, by the way. In fact, considering how tremendously the said platform is growing and has become the leading streaming platform worldwide today, it doesn't seem like it will be stopping anytime soon from taking over the entirety of Hollywood. And now, even co-CEO Ted Sarandos is claiming the streamer will save Hollywood after movie theater dies. Or Cobra Kai. This is true. I've heard people really liked Cobra Kai. I have not watched it, since it listens to its consumers. I don't believe that for a second. It's going to add in an explicit there, but we're trying to tone that back a little bit. Judging from the way the theatrical windows seem to be shrinking more and more with each passing day, leading to sagging box office receipts, one might as well say the ones to be blamed for this situation are none other than the streamers. Ever since streaming platforms made getting entertainment easier for viewers, the situations continue to turn sour through theaters. You loved it? Yeah, I heard a lot of people said Cobra Kai was good. I guess, I don't know. I could just go on a binge and watch every Karate Kid and then jump to Cobra Kai. However, Netflix co-CEO, again, Ted Sarandos, I feel like we said his name like 4 times already, seems to have a very different perspective on this matter. While viewers might complain the ease provided by the respective streaming giants to them in the comfort of their homes is reasonable for these changes, Sarandos feels these very streamers are the ones to save Hollywood now that movie theaters seem to wither and die. Or it could be you're producing a bunch of garbage and no one wants to go and see it. That could also be the case, too. During the recently held Time 100 Summit, he confessed his thoughts about the same, saying, "No, we're saving Hollywood." According to him, Netflix is, quote, "a very consumer-focused company. We deliver the program to you in a way you want to watch it. How about physical media? That's how I would like to watch it, please." As reported by Deadline, apparently the respective streamers doing just what consumers are telling them to do. Is it make established franchises good and respect the lore of said franchises? So far, you've been failing miserably on that one. This was a perspective he made clear while addressing the box office, which currently seems to be on a downward slope of constant decline. Commenting on the declining box office, he rhetorically asked, "What is the consumer trying to tell us?" before proceeding to answer his own question, that they'd like to watch movies at home, and that does seem to be the case. He feels the theatrical experience has become an outmoded idea for most. I think it's because of the price hikes and how much money goes now into movies just for the advertisement alone that people don't want to spend over $60 for the movie, the food, renting the seat, and all that stuff for something that literally they're just paying for a digital copy of it. So, of course, people are going to go through that. As it has been observed in the past few years, cinema goers have decreased in numbers ever since viewers were gifted with the possibility of watching their favorite movies and television series from the comfort of their homes. That said, Sarandos' claims about Netflix being there to save the day when theaters fail don't seem all that far-fetched at this stage. That's not all. Continuing, he's also opened up about his thoughts on the communal aspect of theatrical moviegoing. Although he initially admitted that he himself is fond of movie theaters and cinemas, at the same time, the co-CEO's views on their respective experience were something like, "I believe it's an outmoded idea for the most part, not for everybody." Well, I mean, your retarded streaming service wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for the movie theaters. So don't ever forget that, schmuck. At the same time, Sarandos also addressed his past comments made at Semaphor's World Economy Summit about the hurdles that entertainment companies often face, which go beyond those faced by other industries. He said, "What I was saying is, it's often that the entertainment industry doesn't get treated like a real business, and that's one of the examples of it." Now that he himself has admitted to it, it's unarguable that Ted Sarandos, along with the rest of the Brainbox team behind Netflix, is inevitably aiming to take over Hollywood's entire entertainment industry when movie theaters fail to show up. And judging from how quickly they're progressing, that day doesn't seem to be too far from now. Oh, so in a monopoly, in other words. Let's not beat around the bush. Monopoly. And it is a business. In fact, the movie rating system's a straight-up censorship group. We want to get to there, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole. So we had that. Like I said, we had Fandom Pulse's copy of it too, or article coverage of it as well. So again, reiterating kind of the same thing. We're saving Hollywood. We deliver programs to you in a way you want to watch it. Specifically referring to lower box office grosses. What is the consumer trying to tell us? That they like to watch movies at home. Furthermore, he claimed watching movies in theaters outdated. Okay, we've already read all that. So box office grosses peaked in 2018 with a total of $11.9 billion at the domestic box office and 1.3 billion tickets sold. However, ticket sales and grosses had been pretty flat for the entire decade up to that point. And if you factor in inflation, the grosses were clearly down. For example, 10.6 billion gross in 2009 would have been 12.6 billion in 2019. That's an 11% decline in grosses. Even worse is that tickets sold had declined by over 13%. And then we've got a bunch of numbers here that I am not going to read, but you can check it out. There you go. Pretty much showcasing that as this kind of bounces up and down, that goes down. Woo. The theater business cratered in 2020, with many theaters shutting down due to the COVID pandemic, and has not recovered since. In 2020, domestic theaters only grossed a total of $2 billion and only sold 219.9 million tickets. In fact, after rallying to nearly $9 billion in grosses and 819 million tickets in 2023, the industry shrunk in 2024 to just 8.6 billion and 762 million tickets sold. We got some numbers right there. Another reason why the COVID lockdown was garbage. And now a lot of the stuff that we were saying before and people got labeled conspiracy theorists and crazy was indeed true. And they damaged a lot of stuff that possibly could never recover. If the industry maintains the current pace it's on now, it's likely to only gross around 6.5 billion. However, it's likely that number could be even higher, given summer months usually overperform at the box office. And then we've got another example using 2009 compared to 2023. And that's pretty much that article. Okay, so Fandom Pulse's article at least gave us some numbers that we could work with, but me and numbers don't get along. I get bored about it, seeing it really easily. But there you go. So I saw this. Apparently the Discord founder steps down as CEO. Will be replaced by former Activision Blizzard vice chairman. Uh-oh. Jason Citron will make way for Hamam Sakinini. In a message sent to Discord employees this week, Jason Citron, who founded and launched Discord 10 years ago, announced that as of April 28th, Hamam Sakinini will be replacing him as CEO. Citron will continue to be a member of Discord's board of directors and will also take on a new role as advisor to the CEO. So he pretty much just doesn't want to deal with the responsibilities anymore. However, Hamam, who was previously chief strategy advisor at Activision Blizzard, working on such series as World of Warcraft and Call of Duty, will be the person to lead Discord to what Citron calls its, quote, next chapter of growth and someday becoming a public company. Probably a censorship company, because we all know what they're trying to do, with Discord and censorship and all that. Hamam was also CFO and later president of King before becoming vice chairman of Activision Blizzard until December of 2023. As we enter our next phase, I've been reflecting on how I can best contribute to Discord's long-term success, Citron told staff in his message. The job of a CEO is constantly evolving, and over the years, I have continuously hired myself out of a job. Usually that means delegating work and then taking on different leadership challenges. However, as I look at what is needed of Discord CEO over the next few years, I realize that it's time for me to literally hire myself out of a job. Concluding, he thanked staff for their dedication, belief, and hard work over the years. Stories we tell, the products we create, the programs we run, all of it, the result of all of your passion and energy, he added. You are what makes Discord what it is today because you give a shit about our... Pure professionalism right there, folks. Now, I'm not the one to be the shining example of professionalism, but could you have at least have ended this statement without swearing? About our customer and your craft, I believe this evolution sets us up for even greater success in the years to come. In a separate statement, he said his role was to help Discord grow towards becoming a public company while still ensuring it doesn't lose its core values. I'm incredibly excited to join Discord at such a pivotal moment, he said. This is Shakinini, or hammam. Discord stands as a massive foundational part of the gaming ecosystem that millions of players, developers, and publishers rely on every day. What Jason and Discord co-founder and CTO Stan Vyshvensky have built is truly remarkable, a platform of undeniable product market fit wherever or where hundreds of millions of people connect about their passion for gaming and shared interests. I look forward to working with Stan and Discord talented team to scale our business while staying true to a company's core mission of this special connection it has with player communities. We're still at the beginning of the gaming's impact on entertainment and culture, and Discord is perfectly positioned to play a central role in that future. Okay, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be CEO, but I don't get the reasoning. And they pretty much explain it like later on, like to hire myself out of the job. Usually that means delegating work and then taking a different leadership challenges. Like you can't hire people to be like, hey, we're starting this new thing. You're going to be the head of it. So then I can focus on CEO stuff. But you report to me. Like, to me, that makes no sense. Unless they literally didn't have the funds to do it, I guess. So, I don't know. Well, whatever. Congrats, I guess, to him. Or not. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. So, Oblivion Remaster. A lot of people are enjoying it. Our main story here that we'll cover up as we wind down on the stream here talks about Nexus mods and re-allowing access to the male-female mod to make it what it should have been in the first place. But before that, the infamous dialogue blooper was still left intact. Now let me do that one again. Tandowill's badly edited voice acting is still here for a new generation of players. One of the Elder Scrolls Oblivion's most infamous bloopers haven't been fixed for the newly released remaster. It was released on Tuesday, offering a wealth of new features including improved graphics, gameplay tweaks, and new voice acting to ensure all the races in the game now sound unique. While new voices have been recorded, however, those that were previously recorded for the original game remain intact. As such, this means one of the game's most humorous errors can still be found in the remastered version unchanged. When players visit the Temple of the One in the Imperial City Temple District, they can find Tandalwi, the ironically titled Master Speechcraft Trainer. Once players have spoken to all the beggars, Tandalwi will offer the player speech crafting training, which lets them influence characters to trust them and potentially reveal new information to them. However, one of Tandalwi's lines in the game is, "I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University." Oh my gosh, maybe I should take lessons from him because apparently I can't talk. "I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion compound, and the temple, all on the same night." Wait a minute, let me do that one more again. "I heard that the thieves broke," and then he just repeats it. Clearly, the voice actor wasn't happy with her initial delivery. Wait, that was a woman? I thought that was a dude that said it. Of the line and asked to try it again, but whoever was in charge of editing the dialogue got it wrong and kept both takes by mistake. And I love the fact that there was literally subtitles. I think that, there was another way you could have checked to make sure that that needed to be cut, is by looking at the subtitles, but apparently not. But it hasn't been fixed, so we can take a listen to what it sounds like. Let's pick this one. Make sure you guys can hear it. You guys might be hearing. Really, what I should do is I should put on my headphones. Hold on, folks. I'm just lazy. Sorry if you literally just heard me smack my mic. There we go. Oh, wow. That was... Why is that... Wait, why is that in the red? I swear. All right. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. I don't know. Like OBS is saying I'm like super peaking. Well, I guess I'll sit back here. What happens if I just throw everything on? There. Now we're not peaking anymore. I don't know how I sound though. Probably. Ted Cruz. God damn it, Greg. Be a professional and put those headphones on. I know. I'm such a fag. Yeah, you're clipping a bit. Like, am I clipping now or am I good? Now I sound far away. On my end, I sound fine and I'm not peaking. Here, what if I turn this? Okay, that's clipping. Okay, is that still clipping? We're still in the red, but we're not clipping. Okay, I turned it down a little bit. What if I do that? Okay, that's... Okay, hopefully that... Okay. No, maybe. Dude. I hate everything. That sounds better. Pretty good now. Okay. I'm going to drop it down just a smidgen. Dude, I swear, OBS changes whatever it wants, and I'm getting so tired of it. I do not understand. Because right now we have noise gate on, got noise suppression on, but now it kind of looks like we're still clipping. This doesn't make sense. Sorry if I was like too loud for everybody. Okay. This doesn't make sense. Okay. Testing 1 2. Okay, I think that should be fine. Dude, I want to scream. I'm surprised my mic's even working. It's better than no sound. This is true. This is very true. Better than no sound at all. But like I said, yeah, I am the #1 show when it comes to pop culture. and retro gaming streaming. This stuff that you see right here is pure professionalism at its max, 100%. This is what the stuff that should entice you to subscribe and hit the like button and follow me over on YouTube, Rumble, and X. Because as a master audio technician, you'll get nothing but the best from me. All this just to get ready to listen to it. And I clipped a little bit louder there, but gotta... All right, let's fucking do this. I'm tired of this. Make sure you guys can hear it.
What can I do for you?
Here you go.
I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion compound, and the temple all on the same night. Wait a minute, let me do that one again. I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion compound, and the temple all on the same night.
Beautiful, beautiful take. So good that they combined both of them together. Okay, I thought that was a dude that said that, but apparently it is indeed a woman. This is true. Yes, I'm also the #1 racist podcast. Absolutely. But as a ginger, I can do no wrong because I am the most oppressed race out there. But you shan't see me play the victim card. But remember, as DSP says, guys, we need to do better in the donations. I got bills to pay. Did you also see DSP? DSP like straight up showed his confirmation and like address and stuff and tries to play it off like, oh, people already doxed me so they know and stuff, that he ordered two Switch 2s and someone figured out how to get all that information and canceled it on him. Oh my gosh. What an idiot. Why would you do that? If you know that people figured out a way to find out who you are, like where you are, where you live, and all that stuff, why would you even give them the ability to see anything that might showcase anything beyond your address? Because I guess he's like, oh, my address got hacked, like, or got doxxed already, so people know where I'm at. It's like, okay, well then don't give them anything else. Oh, that was so funny. Should that be my goal, guys? Should I try to be the next Dark Side Phil? I'm going to be the next Dark Side Phil, folks. I've declared it. I'm going to be the next Dark Side Phil, but better. But the exact opposite. He had a rough few weeks. Can't believe he turned on the casino. Oh, yeah, I saw that a little. I don't know. I don't know nothing about. I've heard of casino in them, but I don't know nothing about them. All right, anyway. So clearly the voice actor wasn't happy. Voice actress, let's be real here. This is what they try to pull too, is they try to use voice actor as an umbrella term. Voice actor and voice actresses. I hate it that they try to pull that crap. Wasn't like that back in the day. It shouldn't be like that now. Anyway. But I guess we technically already read that. And we played the video. So there you go. What's more, whereas in the original Oblivion, the character's mouth movements were only synced to the original take, because Oblivion Remaster has automatic lip syncing tech, the full line, including the let me do that one again, and both takes all have full lip syncing. And it was released Tuesday after months of speculation. It's been fully rebuilt in the Unreal Engine 5. Features a complete graphical revamp along with the changes to the studio to an extent and gameplay. Now, this is actually good because I've actually stated this before, is that really there should be no issue with lip syncing now. Because we watched the new Onimusha trailer and the lip syncing was not matching with the English. And I said before, when I took voice acting classes, specifically with video games, at the time, people were talking about on how it's getting to the point where they can read the waveform of your line takes and the software will do an automatic lip syncing. There you go. Right there. It does it. So there really should be no excuse of like trailers and whatnot being poorly dubbed. But in any case, let's go ahead and we're going to switch over to some Tech for Gamer articles that are talking about the Switch 2. As many people know, Switch 2 can pre-ordered. Was expected. This is April 24th, is expected to sell between 6 to 9 million units within the first week of its launch. In Japan, where handheld devices are comparatively cheaper, pre-orders have surpassed 2.2 million units. Now, an analyst has predicted the global sales of the console, and that is expected to sell between 6 and 9 million units within its first week of launch. 69. You know it. 69, baby. Why it matters. Why does it matter, indeed? For a handheld console, that costs a significant amount. Pre-orders for it are overwhelming. Okay, I'm just going to close my OBS because it's bothering me. It's still saying I'm peaking, and yet I've brought it, like, I've lowered the volume. Oh my gosh, I hate everything. In the words of Agent Paul Smecker, words of wisdom that ring so true. Nintendo has successfully solidified its place as one of the biggest gaming units. A new report from Bloomberg quotes Pelham Smithers' statement on the Switch 2 sales. As Japan accounts for a third of the global Switch installation base, it implies 6.6 million pre-orders globally. Currently, the PlayStation 4 holds the record for the highest first week sales, more than 4.5 million units. Switch 2's first week sales are expected to break this record by a huge margin. It's going to be huge. Additionally, another analyst, has predicted that the 2.2 million first week sales in Japan imply global demand of around 9 million units the first week. While both of these figures are conflicting, it's just speculation from analysts. It's just speculation. And it's even unclear if Nintendo will be able to meet much demands. Previously, it was reporting that a whopping 20 million Switch 2 units are expected to sell within the first year of its launch. However, with the tariffs accounting, it's unknown if Nintendo will be able to produce that many. Man, are they really still trying to push the tariff excuse? Isn't the Switch 2 is made in Vietnam, and Vietnam, I believe, have already met with Trump to talk about tariff negotiations. So man, they are really trying to push what Nintendo had to do, for raising their prices. It's justified. Gosh. Despite Nintendo's efforts to restrict scalping, such practices won't be stopped, and the consoles are already being sold at ridiculous prices on the internet. Well, I mean, I have a couple ideas on how to stop scalping. May not be legal, but I have a couple ideas, and involving some leg breaking and some beatings. I mean, there's an idea for you. So that ties into this article, which is like a day after. So probably don't even need to really read this, because the demands are already far exceeding expectations. Not a super long article, but they're excited about the hybrid console gaming. Despite controversy surrounding hardware and accessory prices, new AAA game at MSRP standard, and other issues, expectations remain high. Coming hot off the heels of the game giant's most successful hardware. I love how they're saying it's the most successful hardware, but literally the hardware is like just now meeting up to what the other consoles have already done. It's just because it's Nintendo. You're literally clapping at Nintendo for like, hey, you finally like are now at the same level at what other consoles have been at for a while. President Shuntaro Furukawa, the company's recent efforts to accept pre-orders through lotteries on the Nintendo Store has been incredibly successful. Company reports approximately 2.2 million applications have been received from Japan alone. Not be able to meet this demand on launch day. The company has stated that those who end up missing their chance during the first lottery will be able to try again in the second lottery automatically. PS2 currently holds the most launched Wii consoles sales in Japan, nearly 1 million units. Nintendo statement implies that this record should easily be beatable for the Switch 2. Easily done. Easily. The original Nintendo Switch is edging closer to beating the PS2 lifetime sales. As such, the Switch the Switch family may beat multiple PlayStation records by 2026. No, Sony, this is why you dropped the ball big time. Don't let Nintendo win. You fuckers should have stayed with backwards compatibility. But you failed. You failed miserably. Ugh. All right, so we're one article away from the main one about Nexus mods, which, I mean, it's not like it's some gigantic buildup that we're going to be shocked by or anything. I found this over at Fandom Wire, though, and this is interesting. So Sony Music, Warner Brother Records want anyone who pirates anime to not have access to internet under contributory copyright infringement law. Get fucked, dude. If it wasn't for piracy, a lot of people wouldn't even know about anime, you delusional fags. The anime community may face its greatest nightmare as major industry giants like UMG are taking the copyright infringement laws to the next level. And people wouldn't mind buying your copies of stuff if, one, DEI wasn't inserted into it, you actually respected the material, and two, you actually give them like in the correct coloring and all that stuff. For example, Dragon Ball Z with their stupid P filter or whatever, where everything's like more orangish or whatever. The good old days of watching your favorite anime on any random pirated website may just be gone anytime now. Oh, dude. Oh, who wrote this article? Diganta, wake up, brother. The internet is like a hydra. You think this is going to stop people from pirating? Weebs in shambles right now. Yes, you read that right. Whenever you try to access any such website and start streaming your favorite anime illegally, you will find your internet service has just been cut off without any prior notice or anything. You want to know what the solution to that is? Called a VPN, retard. Just the thought of it may steal a lot of anime fans' good night's sleep. Will sleep perfectly fine tonight. We knew the industry has long been trying to get a hold of illegal anime streaming, but it's still hard to imagine how fast things are moving up already. This all started with Universal Music Group and Capitol Records, where their main target right now is a Texas-based internet provider. But the sequence, not Texas, but the consequences of this action may be far-reaching, even up to the anime industry. So they are suing Grande Communications. Well, I don't use that, so I'm good. An internet provider in Texas, for a rather concerning issue at hand. What is the issue? They are simply claiming internet service providers should just cut off the user's internet connection if they ever get hit with multiple piracy claims. These music companies claim Grande didn't do enough to stop piracy, basically saying that ISP turned a blind eye on the entire matter. They even went as far as accusing them of contributory copyright infringement, which essentially means they think Grande enabled piracy by not doing more to stop it. I have never heard of this internet thing. If only they invested all that time into making better services. If only you guys invested all the time to like actually respect the source material and get your DEI infested localization garbage out of anime. This is a whole different article, but whatever. So now, obviously, the lawsuit has gotten people who stream and share online properties without any legal advisors a little worried. If ISPs actually start policing or policing their users and cutting off internet service like that, it'd be a nightmare for both ends of the spectrum. How it may affect the anime industry as a whole. Again, apparently this guy has never heard of VPNs, so good luck, I guess. Since the intro, we haven't really talked about the involvement of anime here, but do we even need to? Is it already obvious? We already know how music and anime go hand in hand. Anime shows often feature catchy soundtracks and OP/ED themes, and that's one of the main attractions of this franchise. But what some people may not know is that the connection between the two industries is even deeper. They're all in the same blood orgy, apparently. Some industry giants, similar to UMG, are also involved in the anime music landscape. Take Sony Music, for instance, which owns both Aniplex, a major anime production studio, and Crunchyroll, one of the biggest anime streaming platforms. Even WB Records had major involvement in that regard. Oh, so it's like one big giant monopoly that everyone was getting upset about, especially when you deliver subpar localization. While Sony isn't directly involved in this lawsuit, they've been vocal about supporting tougher measures against piracy for a long time now, and they're sure doing a good job. I haven't really seen anything happening. They, in fact, do support disconnecting users from the internet. Oh, good luck with that. The court's judgment goes in favor of the music labels. It would be over for casual anime fans. When ISPs start cutting off user connections based on piracy complaints, dude, this guy is delusional. Like, you think they can just go around slapping? These people can't even, like, the company, here's the thing, the companies can't even prove that people are downloading, like, are pirating. That's the thing. Like, for the average Joe viewer, like, it's literally, they ask the IP, like, what are the connections? And they just look at, like, the connections that are high and low and stuff at time, and they just assume. They can't actually do it. And again, VPNs, at least that's what when I was looking at this at the time, like when I kind of looked back into the matter, again, VPN solves this problem. So these people literally think they're killing the beast when it's a Hydra. Yeah, in the era of regional lockouts and staggering releases, is over. When ISP starts cutting off user connections based on piracy complaints, fans would go crazy for not being able to illegally stream anime, read manga online, or even share files with friends. I don't think people will go crazy. Again, it'll be like a Hydra. There'll just be another place that you can go to. And honestly, like, this would lead up to more lawsuits and headaches. Because somewhere down the line, someone would get wrongfully terminated and have a huge ass lawsuit on him. This would seemingly be beneficial for the industry, but how exactly will the community recover from the shock? Well, number one, it wouldn't benefit the industry at all. Because I will never believe, ever, that the industry claims it's hurting them. They're just mad that instead of $2 million, they made $1 million. Like, I will not weep for these companies at all. And especially since they're giving us very subpar, terrible localizations, not listening to people, weird filter, all this stuff. Like, why should we feel sorry for them? Because they don't listen to the customers. They listen to activist groups and weirdos. Weirdos who think anime, like the heart and soul of anime, was about the LGBTQ community, which anime was not founded on that whatsoever. It's just an umbrella. It's just a subgenre of an umbrella that is anime. But they want you to believe that's the heart and soul of what anime is all about, and it never was. A lot of animes were a response to the bombings. You know where I learned that from? From a liberal arts class. God, these fools. Anyway, but here we are. Here we are. We are on the main article from that Park Place. That is Nexus Mod. Nexus Mod has been getting a lot of heat and hatred because they're a bunch of pussies that side towards activists, like the Spider-Man trans flag being removed mod. Recently, they removed the Oblivion Remastered male and female mod because the Remastered still doing that stupid body type 1 and 2, which is so minimal that it didn't even need to be changed in the first place. It's kind of like the argument that they tried to do with, what was it, Starfield. Well, where it's like, it doesn't affect the story at all. And, it's so little that why are you making it such a big deal? Well, that just proves my point. If it was so little, then it didn't need to be changed in the first place. It's the fact that they did change it. And the main question is, why did they change it? And we know the reason why. So you can't you can't win on that argument. They don't even protect Hollywood movies that hard. I doubt they'll care about animes. If you're stupid enough to not use a VPN, you just got to call your ISP and say, whoopsies, internet, go back on. Yeah, and again, it's not like the internet, the ISPs people can go inside of your computer. Like, are they expert hackers that just go into your computer and look, okay, where's that illegal piracy folder? Where is it? Like, no, they don't. They can't do that. And if they are, then they're scumbags. And they need to be burned to the ground. Sometimes I just want to see the whole place burned to the ground. That one, South Park. Anyway, Nexus Mods quietly reverses course on male-female mod for Oblivion Remaster. Is Nexus actually leaving the culture war behind? Nah, I don't think so. Plus, you can always go to a different modding site. So Nexus Mods has issued a community notice that appears to mark a quiet reversal on the controversial Oblivion Remastered mod that restored traditional male and female options to the game character's creator. While the platform claims the mod, quote, did not violate our community guidelines, it also confirmed the original upload was removed due to the uploader's behavior, not the mod's content. Yeah, sure. There's a post right there. Wonder what they're claiming the guy did that was against the community guidelines. Prominent gaming industry voice Grums, Mark Kern, former World of Warcraft team lead, was quick to call the platform out for what he sees as a retreat. There's his post. Nexus Mods folds, he writes on X. They try to claim that the mod was never banned for the mod, but for, quote, the behavior of the mod maker, but they banned other motherfucker MF mods before. It's a win, gamers. He later added, Nexus Mods' explanation of the reversal of MF signals a withdrawal from the culture war. This is as it should be. Don't politically censor mods and let the perpetual offended use the block button. So indeed, Nexus Mod's statement walks a tightrope. It reads, in part, we recognize that mods like this can bring sensitive discussion around gender and identity to the forefront. Well, correction. Sensitive discussion around gender and identity for the mentally impaired. Like people like you and me, we don't have a problem with this because we're based in reality. And the sensitive people can go fist themselves at this point. Because we do not care about your retardation. Your retardation is getting quite annoying and old. Stop being
gay.
And that's all you got to do. While these are important conversations, they are. Our platform exists to support creative expressions and modding, not to serve as a battleground for broader cultural or political debates, but you guys make it that way. You made it that way with the Spider-Man issue. So this is a bunch of garbage. These guys are lying sacks of crap. If you prefer not to see this content, we encourage you to make use of the content blocking tools. Wow, something that everyone has been saying since the beginning. Like, gosh. Yeah, I can see where the walking back. Despite saying they, quote, support creative expression, Nexus also reiterated that re-uploads or derivative content meant to circumvent this policy will be removed, a stance that appears to contradict the free expression language. Yep. History of banning male and female mods. This isn't an isolated case. Grums noted Nexus Mods has a history of removing mods that revert or replace modern character customization terminology with traditional male and female labels. That history makes their current defense, framing this as an issue of uploader behavior, difficult to accept at face value for many in the gaming community. In this particular case, Nexus claims the modder was banned not because of the mod's content, but for expressing an intent to incite drama. Oh, gosh, that is such a vague reason. And linking to what they called an, quote, inflammatory external website. What? Critics argue that a fig leaf for a platform trying to enforce ideological lines without owning the decision outright. Tale of Two Strategies. Compare this to The Lord of the Fallen by CI Games. Rather than enforce a top-down policy, the studio polled its community directly on the use of body type labels. Fans overwhelmingly voted in favor of restoring the male and female, and the developers made the change with little fuss, earning praise from players in the process. Bethesda, by contrast, removed gendered language from Oblivion Remastered without warning or explanation, placing it with the body type 1 and 2. The only way for players to restore the original functionality was through mods, one of which Nexus promptly removed. And if I remember reading over on X, someone pointed out there are specific quests that by using body type 1 and 2 will not make it make sense. Can't remember exactly what it is, but it's there. Nexus mods may have issued a statement that seems to pull them out of the culture war, but it's done little to cool the conversation. Grums and others are calling it a win, and it might be just that, but they're all watching closely to see if this, quote, policy of neutrality holds. As Grums puts it, let's see how this new policy acts going forward. If Nexus really is stepping away from the culture war, the next test will be consistency. Will Nexus allow similar Oblivion mods going forward, regardless of who posts them? Or will, quote, behavior continue to be the backdoor for selective moderations? Yeah, I don't believe them for a second. I do not believe them for a second. And I do wish that there was a site that's just as big as Nexus mods that can replace them in terms of going to get your mods. I saw one. I think they're working on it. I don't know what the name is, but I think if you go to this specific post, you can find the people talking about it there. That's what I say. But I've said on past streams before, I do respect the modding community for this specific reason, is that they understand that this is garbage and that there was no reason to make any changes. And it's sad that it has to come down to getting the purest form of a game through via modding. But if it needs to happen, it needs to happen. But you would think that companies would listen by now, because the people they've been listening to for the past years don't like gaming, they're tourists, or they're activists, and they just want their 15 minutes of perceived fame. But yes, that is all I have for you tonight. So thanks to everybody who hung out with me and enjoyed the technical difficulty that I was having. It was fun on my end. I absolutely loved it. But we are done for tonight. Again, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. Tomorrow we'll be doing some gaming as we always do. I hope to see you guys there. We were on YouTube, Rumble, and X, trying to grow that Rumble. Make sure to check that out specifically. Help me out over there. Let's see. Anybody online that we can do some raiding? Vara's online. Here, we'll raid. Raid Vara there over on YouTube. I've seen this guy over on Panda Subs. So maybe check him out. Well, actually, I always like to see what channels. He seems cool. Why not? Let's go. All right. Well, you guys have a good rest of your day. Take care. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace. Adios. Have a good one.